The Chief Minister of the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir has resigned after the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party pulled out of a coalition government with her party. The PDP says it always wants a dialogue and reconciliation. However, the party did not fail to caution that muscular power is not a viable solution for Jammu and Kashmir.
जम्मू कश्मीर में boycott, treat जम्मू कश्मीर as an enemy territory. ये हमारे दुश्मनों की टेरिटरी नहीं है, हमारे जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों की टेरिटरी है. इसलिए यहाँ मस्कुलर पॉलिसी कामयाब नहीं हो सकती है, जिसका बेसिक मकसद ये था रिकन्सिलेशन, यानी जम्मू कश्मीर में रिकन्सिलेशन डायलॉग, यहाँ के जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों के साथ डायलॉग, यहाँ कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग मेजर्स, पाकिस्तान के साथ एक अच्छा रिश्ता.
The BJP says the three-year alliance with the People's Democratic Party has become untenable in the wake of increasing violence in the state.
Keeping in mind the larger national interest of India's integrity and security, keeping in mind the fact that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India, in order to bring control over the situation prevailing in the state, we have decided that it is time the reins of power in the state be handed over to the governor.
Another political party in the state, the National Conference, that was in power earlier, says it will not go for any coalition as of now, and the party also appealed to the governor of the state to take control of the situation.
लेकिन हमने ये भी गुजारिश की कि ज़्यादा देर जो है गवर्नर रूल रहना नहीं चाहिए. आखिरकार लोगों को हक है वो अपनी हुकूमत चुने, और हम चाहेंगे कि जल्द से जल्द गवर्नर साहब और उनके साथी कोशिश करें कि रियासत में दोबारा साजगार हालात बने, नए सिरे से इलेक्शन हो, उन इलेक्शंस के बाद लोगों का जो फैसला होगा वो हम सबको कबूल होगा, सिर आंखों पे.
Joining us from the capital is Sushant Sareen, strategic affairs expert, and we also are joined on the phone line from Germany by a former interlocutor for Jammu and Kashmir, Dr. Radha Kumar. Dr. Radha Kumar, how would you read today's situation, developments in terms of were they expected? Did you expect them, considering the two parties have completely different constituencies?
I thought when the central government decided to withdraw the ceasefire, it was clear that this could be a breaking point between the two coalition partners. I can't say that I expected this to happen quite so soon, but certainly it was a point of difference between the two for a long time. And, the Chief Minister had managed to persuade our Prime Minister to agree to trying the unilateral ceasefire. But, and the government should have given more time for it, in my belief. I think it was far too soon to take the decision to withdraw it.
Mr. Sareen, if I can get you in, the same question, considering the parties are completely different constituencies and in the run-up to polls next year, Lok Sabha polls, would you say that this alliance was just waiting to break?
Well, I think the problem with the alliance was that the chemistry was never right. There was nothing intrinsically wrong with the alliance. They had separate constituencies, and these constituencies could have become complementary provided the chemistry had worked. But it increasingly seemed that the alliance was becoming untenable. The pressure was rising, especially after the failed ceasefire. And I'm afraid I disagree with what Dr. Radha Kumar is saying. The ceasefire was a dismal failure simply because there was no preparation behind it. You hadn't prepared the ground for it. There was nobody with whom you were going to be able to interact and negotiate or begin some kind of a process of reconciliation. So the ceasefire was a tough deal to start with. And then obviously the pressure was rising. And I think by breaking this alliance, probably both the alliance partners will now, try and reach out to their own core constituencies for whatever that is worth as far as the BJP is concerned, because at the end of the day, it has very limited stakes as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. At best, it has 2 seats in Jammu and maybe 1 seat from Ladakh. It doesn't have a hope in hell of getting any seat from the Kashmir Valley. And if that is going to jeopardize the rest of their political interest, I don't see how it makes any sense for them to dabble in the politics of a very sensitive state. Frankly,
Sure.
This alliance wasn't going anywhere. But my fear now is, Amitabh, that having broken off this alliance, what is going to be the political flight path from here on? Politics is going to be completely derailed. I don't see how you're going to be able to hold elections anytime soon, considering you could not hold elections even on a single seat which Mehbooba Mufti had vacated. So how are you going to be able to bring the political process back on track? And that is a very big concern.
Let me take your
And
thought, Mr. Serene, to Dr. Radhakumar. What next? We do expect President's rule, since none of the parties are saying any permutation, commutation can actually work in government formation. But what next? Does central rule give the centre more powers to control the situation? We seem to have lost that line with Dr. Radhakumar. Let me put that same question to you. Mr. Serene, you are raising the point of what next on the political spectrum. With central rule, does that allow the situation to be brought more under control, or are there core factors that need to be addressed first?
No, that is the presumption that maybe with central rule, some of the policies of appeasement, which clearly have not worked, will now become a thing of the past. You will be able to crack down on the ecosystem which was promoting terrorism, militancy, and separatism much more effectively. The way the hands of the security forces, especially the police, had been shackled, the kind of compromises which were being made by the state government because they wanted to reach out to some of these people, and that was part of their constituency, that can be brought to an end. But these are presumptions. We don't know how it's actually going to play out on the ground. So clearly, things are not going to be it's not going to be a very smooth run. And Amitabh, the larger point is, even if you now are able to start trying to bring the situation under control,
Sure.
I don't think the situation is going to come under control in the next few days, weeks, even months, and perhaps even years.
Right.
I think we've been remiss in the way we've handled Jammu and Kashmir over the last decade or more. And we have botched up an excellent opportunity which we had got after we had retrieved the situation from the very dismal situation which we saw in the 1990s. So we lifted our eye off the ball.
Yeah.
Now,
so your point
clearly,
is that nothing really will change in the near future. You actually
Not
give even
immediate.
not immediately. We've got Dr. Radhakumar on the line again with us. Dr. Radhakumar, there is a successor to your group of interlocutors currently from the centre. Does that change anything once President's rule comes into play, once the governor is in control, once the centre is in control? Does that give the interlocutor any more space, or do core issues have to be addressed?
I mean, the core issues always have to be addressed. So I don't think that's the point over here. I do hope that governor's rule will be limited. As we know, organizing elections in Jammu and Kashmir is a very difficult and complicated task, and the Election Commission will have their hands full. Let me say two things. Number one, if a peace process is in any way connected or related to elections, then it is a disaster. It should not be. It makes the peace process dependent and instrumental to the election process. These two are quite separate and must always be kept separate, and indeed a peace process needs to be insulated from the vagaries of constituency politics to the extent it can be. And I would say it is a terrible failing of our present government that they did not try to insulate a peace process at all. On the ceasefire, I would say that actually, in my understanding, there was background work leading up to it, and quite a lot in different areas. We know from the history of our ceasefires that it takes time. It takes quite a lot of time for the violence to begin to come down and for talks to start. In the case of Vajpayee, it took more than 6 months before talks could start, and in fact, the real anchoring of the talks came in the successor government. So we have to always bear that in mind as well. Now, when it comes to the interlocutor, in some ways, especially under the present governor, Mr. Vora, who has been an interlocutor himself, I think that the interlocutor may actually get more space to work. But as I say, if you don't have the political parties on board and the political leadership on board, it will be more difficult as well. So there's a set of pros that will be in his favor, but there's also a set of cons that will not be in his favor. Ideally, actually, if they were either to say, okay, find a way that this government can make a new coalition and stay long enough to get a peace process going and then have elections, that would be the ideal. That's not going to happen, I don't think, which means that then you should try to make the elections as soon as possible so that you can go back to the work of building the peace process.
Dr. Radha Kumar, ex-Jammu and Kashmir interlocutor, and Sushant Sareen, strategic affairs expert, joining us, explaining their perspectives on the situation after the BJP pulled out.